Hey parents, happy Teenager Tuesday. We are back for part 4 of Care and part 2 of Caring for Your Students' Friends. Make sure, as always, go back and listen, and please share these episodes with people. I believe on these episodes, for just downloads, we've had over 20,000 downloads of these episodes, which is insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Go back, share all of these to anybody who would be helpful for in the area, but specifically this is for our church at Hope Fellowship, and this is very special, episode 150. What's up? Man, crazy. 150 episodes. We got some good content and some stuff to get to, so I'm going to get right into it. What if a parent overhears something that their teen's friend is going through? They're upstairs and they hear them talking downstairs or some kind of scenario like that, and they overhear something that perks a parent up and was like, wait a second, do I need to talk about this? What are they talking about? And kind of sneak in, lean in, So like, what does a parent do in that scenario?
First of all, listen. If you're downstairs,
listen to them.
Listen to them when they talk
it.
after you ask them. Ask questions. So it's okay to ask questions, even if they're like, "Mom, get out of here! Like, do whatever." Just be like, "No, like it's okay. Like, let me help you process this, or like whatever. Like, I just heard this, and and you can relate to it if you can relate to it." And then,
so you would say, like, if they hear it, immediately go into the room.
If you have created the circle of trust with your student.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I would. I'd be like, hey, I heard you were talking about this. Can we talk more about this? Or I think that this is a conversation.
I would love to help.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
And just offer advice. It needs to be like unbiased advice.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have the answer, just be like, hey, I know someone that can help you in this section or whatever. Yeah.
Would there be an instance where you would say, you know what, I'm gonna wait until later and then I'm gonna talk to my kid? Or would you go in every time and talk to both?
I think it depends on the situation. Like if it's something that I feel like is gonna be a harder thing for me to just pop in there and be like, hey, I heard that you were talking about this. It sounds super serious. Whatever, I would probably talk to my daughter first.
Yeah.
And then be like, hey, let's rope her in and invite her for dinner and let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And we're going to get to legal obligations here in a second. So we're going to circle back to that because it does depend on the conversation, on what is coming up, right?
Right.
The next question is, what if a parent is told by their student about something that is rough, is, I don't know, dangerous or something? If their student brings it to them, first off, congratulations. You have a ton of trust from your teenager. Affirm that.
Yeah.
Now, what do they do?
Yeah. First of all, thank them for sharing it with you. Even if you have that created that trust, just say, thank you so much for sharing that. It means a lot that you came to me with this. Let's talk about it. Is that student in danger? Is that teenager in danger? Are they in immediate danger? And at that point, yes, there's other questions that you need to ask to kind of figure out what is the best way to help them. And then ask your student, what advice would you give them in this moment? And that might help you kind of navigate what to do next.
Yeah, I like that, because then the student, probably 99 out of 100 times, if you're like, what advice would you give them? They'll probably say what you would want to say for advice anyways.
Yes.
And then if it is a little bit off, then you can be like, yes, and also.
Yes.
Take
that idea, let's add a little bit.
And also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, if it's let's jump into the legal scenarios, right? Are there any legal obligations if a parent overhears something like drugs or drinking or sex or running away or suicide or anything like that?
So I'm going to talk about the legal ones first.
Yeah.
So run away. If you have someone that comes to your home, which we've actually had a lot of people come to our home, which is great that they feel like your house is a safe place to be. You do have a legal obligation to call the police and let them know that student or teenager is in your home.
Yeah.
You could be charged with harboring and runaway. It's a real thing.
Uh-huh. That happened not here, but at a different church that I know of. Somebody ran away and then went to the church, and the student pastor was like, you're not going home. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to take care of you. And that is technically kidnapping.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like legal aspects that go into that. And again, it's one of those things where you have to have the hard conversation with that student in the moment and be like, I'm so glad that you came to my home and you feel like this is a safe place. However,
Yeah.
I do have to alert the authorities that you're here, and it's up to them what they do next.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so that's just safety for you and your family, but also you're still creating that bond with that person of saying like, hey, this is still a safe place for you.
Yeah.
I'm not calling the cops because they don't want you here.
Yeah. What about like on the topic of if there's a lot of self-harm or potential suicide?
So potential suicide, there's a few different things that you need to kind of talk through. How much have they thought about it? Do they have a plan? Do they have the plan written down? And do they have access
Yes.
to do it?
Yeah.
And
Writing
so,
the plan makes it, if they have a plan written down, I believe it's 6 times more likely that they will attempt.
yes.
Yeah.
And so any suicide, talk about suicide is I would take seriously. It's not something that a lot of people talk about. Teens will say, oh, I'll just go kill myself. And you know your student. But there are students that if they're coming to you and they're saying, I've been thinking about suicide, they're not coming to you lightly, especially if it's not your own child.
Yeah.
And so there's a suicide hotline. It's 988, really easy. You just, on any phone, you can do it. You can also text that number 24/7.
Oh, yeah. You know what's crazy I found out, too, is that you can text 911.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
It actually saved my mom's life.
Wow. I didn't know that.
She has a lot of medical issues over the last few years and couldn't call. And so she texted of like, maybe this will work. And it saved my mom's life.
Wow,
Being able to
that's
text
incredible.
911. It's wild.
I knew we could do it. I just don't know anyone's ever used it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what about this? What about when it comes to, again, the parents' obligations when it comes to suspected or even known, I guess, seen like physical abuse, emotional abuse, hopefully not, but like maybe sexual abuse, whatever, and even neglect.
Yes.
What about that?
So all those things are mandatory report, even if you don't work in a school or law enforcement or church. If a teenager comes to you and says that some sort of neglect, emotional, physical, sexual abuse, you have to report it because you are now what's called an outcry witness. So it has to be to the person that they said it. So if a student came to me and said it, I would be the outcry witness. If a student went to a leader and said it, and then the leader came to me, the leader would be the outcry witness. So it's whoever the person disclosed to. It's very easy. You can call the number. There's a number here, 1-800-252-5400. Or you can go online, fill out a form online. Everything can stay anonymous. It's txabusehotline.org. But you only have 48 hours to report the abuse.
Yeah.
And so if you do not do that and something happens and they find out that you knew about
And there's a
it,
court case and you
Right.
get brought in.
so there's a whole thing. So it's
Yeah,
always
there's-
best to just go ahead and report it
Yeah.
on the site, even if you don't know. And it's up to the Department of Family Services, Family Protective Services. It's up to them if they want to open the case and do all those things. It's just your job to report it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have this with volunteers too. Sometimes people will tell us about a situation and then ask us to report as a church or youth ministry, and we can help walk through the report with you. However, whoever has observed it or was in the conversation, whatever that looks like, you're the outcry witness, and then you would need to put that through. Yeah. What about on the drinking side?
So our rule basically, like we have for Regen for Students, for instance.
Yeah.
So we don't have a legal obligation to call the police if someone is drinking on the weekends.
Okay.
For us, like I'm going to tell a parent if their student was drinking and driving.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, and as a student ministry, and for the way we train volunteers too, is that counts as a dangerous situation.
Right.
So if you know of it, yes, we have to talk to
Right.
parents about it.
Because they are not only endangering themselves, but they're endangering others as well.
Yeah.
And so what I'll say about drugs, for instance, is I would talk to that student if I know about it. And I myself have a long history with drugs and alcohol, so I'm very comfortable having these conversations with them. Other parents are not. But especially right now, fentanyl is like a big thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like one pill can like end a life, and it's really sad. And so like having those conversations with people up front. And so it's like talking to these students and, hey, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
What is the reason behind it? Where are you getting it from? And if their parents know about it, to me, that is something where I would say that that's neglect.
For sure.
For me.
I would agree.
So.
Yeah, I would agree that would fall under abuse on that kind of, with the drug side of it. Yeah, for sure. Hey, let's do this to end. Let's do this. It's been a heavier episode.
Okay.
So what are some quick tips for being the home that your teenager wants to hang out at? Or like your teenager and their friends.
Okay.
What are some quick tips there?
Make your home inviting and comforting.
Yeah.
Be a parent that shows love, guidance, support, listening. Be a cheerleader. Most of all, have fun.
Yep.
Be silly.
Yeah. Also, turn on a lot of lights and have some kind of sound.
Yeah.
Like
you can.
Quiet, dark place. That's a haunted house. So like turn on the lights and have some kind of sound.
There's nothing wrong with haunted house. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Make your space teen friendly.
Yeah.
So whether that's your teen's room or another room in your house, you can create a space that their friends want to hang out. Don't nag, lecture, interrogate when they walk in the door. And for sure, don't do that in front of their friends. That's very embarrassing for them. And they will like hold a grudge forever.
That's true. Yeah. And don't tell gossip to your friends about your students' friends.
Yeah.
There's a thing that's like, I hate when my mom tells my most deepest, darkest secrets to get clout with her friends.
Oh my gosh.
Like that's a common thing. Like people will post about that. Yeah. I love that you have snacks on here. Talk about the snacks you got at home.
Okay. So snacks, we have a whole side of the pantry. We have a whole extra fridge. It's literally stocked all the time.
You have an extra fridge for snacks?
Yeah, I do.
I want some.
Just for Bella's friends' snacks. This is a thing. Because we want her to have her friends over.
Yeah.
And she does. She has a slew of people that come over and they go upstairs and whatever. This isn't available for everyone, but we decided to sacrifice our movie theater room in our house to be Bella's room.
Yeah.
And so she literally, So she has a couch in there, a TV, it's a mini living room plus her bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a cool little apartment type thing.
Oh yeah. Studio.
And her friends freaking love it,
Yeah.
you know? And so they just come over and she's got band posters everywhere.
Gives
and
a college
weird
feel.
lights. Yeah. It's just, they love to do it. And
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
but snacks, food is a major win.
Come on.
They always eat. They all eat. Doesn't matter what the age they are. They want snacks.
Everybody's got to eat.
Be a role model. That's
Yeah.
a big one. Show compassion and understanding. And treat their friends like you would treat your friends.
Yeah.
Invite them in. Say hi to them. Make conversation. If they come down for snacks, hey, what are you doing? What's your favorite snack? And and so I've tried to actually find different things that I know her friends like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll go ahead and make it. Or I'll be like, oh, so-and-so likes this for dinner, so we're going to get that, or I'm going to make it. And so,
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Parents, I know this is a little bit of a heavier topic, but it's always important to be informed about. And if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to email me at wperry@hopefellowship.net. We'd love to be there with you and to help you out. And always remember, you can do this. You're not alone. God is with you, and so are we. Have a great week.